Hey guys, thanks for tuning back into the channel. We're at almost 400 subscribers, which is crazy considering it's been only a month and a half since I created the channel. This week I wanted to review my experience with the Benelli M4, or in this case the M1014 limited edition, which simply means that it has the skeleton stock and an American flag engraved into the side. It's a little bit different than the standard M4, but not by much. This version is supposed to be a replica of the model used by the United States Marine Corps. The Benelli M4 is a 12-gauge combat shotgun, and from what I've read, has a very popular and very impressive track record with the military and with law enforcement. I've never used one prior to this video and have no experience using one in the line of duty, so I cannot attest to its effectiveness in real-world use, but plenty of others can. It just takes a Google search to be able to find it. There's plenty of people and plenty of operators that talk about this stuff, so you can find their opinions in other YouTube videos, even though I'm not some super high-speed guy. This is my experience with using it recreationally and preparing to use it as a defensive, home defensive shotgun. Right out the gate, I need to clarify that this is not how it comes right out the box. I have definitely made some modifications to it, and I'm going to explain what I've done to it. But the stock version of the limited edition 1014 is a 5-round tubed magazine and a fixed skeleton stock, so you actually can't adjust it. So when you go and buy one of these from Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop, you're actually getting a fixed version. So if you want to be able to get the adjustable stock version, you have to go and buy about a $500 part to be able to change that. So I'll explain that later in the video. So I have modified this shotgun from how it was originally configured, mainly by adding a red dot, in this case a SIG Romeo 5 red dot sight. However, in the video you're going to see me using a Holosun 503C just because I was waiting on the Romeo 5 to get here. I'm also using an STAC shotgun shell saddle or placard that gets velcroed onto the side of the receiver, a 7-round magazine extension rather than the 5-round magazine with an enhanced reliability follower inside, a custom charging handle, and a mount to hold a Streamlight TLR1 HL 800 lumen weapon mounted light. But most importantly, I have added the Freedom Fighter Tactical adjustable buttstock tube so that this stock can be adjusted and is not fixed as it comes out of the box. I wanted this thing to be as close as it could get to a Marine Corps shotgun. I mean, who doesn't want a Benelli M4 that actually has the adjustable stock? I mean, come on. I have to say, first and foremost, that this is not a cheap shotgun and not a cheap process when it comes to changing the stock to be more adjustable. Expect upwards of $2,000 for this gun. But this is a very accurate and reliable shotgun. It shoots very smooth and feeds every kind of ammo that I gave it. One of the first things that I wanted to try with this gun is cycling different kinds of ammo through it. I've heard a lot of stuff online on different videos and in forums that this shotgun won't shoot some of the cheaper stuff and won't shoot some of the lower powered ammunition like birdshot. So I went to test it out myself. I went ahead and bought some real cheap Remington Target birdshot and some Federal 2 3/4 inch birdshot, stuff that you can find at Walmart, if Walmart even sells ammo anymore, or any other sporting goods stores out there. This is the cheap stuff. I didn't get any of the Winchester white box. Amazingly, that stuff was all gone. I don't know what the rage is, but 12 gauge is actually getting kind of hard to find right now. Anyway, I was able to feed all these birdshot rounds no problem. They all cycled reliably. They all shot smoothly. The ejection pattern for all of them was extremely consistent. Going on to buckshot, using just regular buckshot and then double-aught buckshot, it cycled just fine. One of the things I was pretty impressed about with the shotgun is the fact that this thing shoots heavier loads like buckshot and slugs, and it doesn't destroy your shoulder. The last shotgun that I had was just a good old Remington 870 Express synthetic, and that gun shooting 3-inch double-aught buckshot was a pain, and it hurt really bad. It was hard to control, hard to actually be accurate with it because the flinch response was so hard from it. So yeah, getting back to the point, this shotgun shoots heavy loads very well. I'm able to control it pretty well. It doesn't destroy my shoulder, which helps and lends to better accuracy if you're not giving as big of a flinch response. Anyway, this shotgun fed everything that I gave it. When it came to cheap birdshot, it shot it. Powerful slugs, hunting slugs, defense rounds, defense double-aught buckshot, it ate it all up. While the ejection pattern was extremely consistent with all of the rounds that were shot through it, I only ever had one malfunction, and with that, I had a failure to feed. Basically, the round was ejected from the internal magazine, but the bolt locked back, and which was kind of weird because I wasn't holding the bolt lock down, The bolt locked back and the round just didn't get fed into the chamber. So I just dropped the bolt again. It fed the round right up into the chamber and it shot it no problem. I only had that issue one time and I really don't know what caused it. It might have been just a fumble, but you know, all guns are machines and machines all make mistakes and you have malfunctions at times. So when it comes to accuracy, one of the things I want to point out, this thing does have a fully adjustable rear sight so that you can use something like a coin, a screwdriver, or even the rim of a shotgun shell to adjust the windage on this sight. You have very visible iron sights, so if you didn't want to put an optic on it, you really don't have to. I think the sights are perfect. So I put a SIG Romeo 5 on here because I have a lot of experience with these red dots and I've had them on a lot of different rifles. They're excellent quality and they hold up long term. No, this is not broken or malfunctioned or gotten damaged since I put it on a shotgun. The recoil has not destroyed this optic, so you could put this on there with confidence. It's going to do well. You don't need something like a T1 that's going to survive the shotgun's recoil, because this will do just fine. The next most prevalent piece of kit on this gun is going to be the S-Tac shotgun placard that you're going to see on the side of the gun. It does come with a large piece of Velcro that I use to stick to the side of the receiver that will hold the saddle. You can buy these things in different colors and different versions that hold different amounts of shells. One of the things I like about it is it's very easy to strip off the saddle and put a different one on. Kind of like having different like AR mags, having a mag ready to go. So it makes for some pretty quick reloads. I will say though that the elastic that holds the shells is very tight when you get it. So just keep that in mind. When you are getting these, it's going to take a couple times to get these things in there. And your fingers are going to get kind of tired. But it does wear in, does break in, and it gets easier to put these things in and take them out. But it's nice to know that this thing is very secure under the 12-gauge recoil. Next, I have the Impact Weapon Systems Benelli M4 flashlight mount on here that I have used to mount a TLR1 HL 800 lumen flashlight. If you're going to have a defensive gun, whether it's a carry gun or a home defense gun, you've got to have a light. You need one. You got to identify what you're shooting, whether it's the dude that's breaking into your home and ready to attack your family, or the stupid cats that keep digging into the garden and destroying all of your hard work on your fields. So whatever it may be, you got to be able to identify it before you shoot it. So having a light is essential. That mount goes for about $100, and it's not hard to install. Just keep in mind you are going to need snap ring pliers to remove the snap ring that is on the gun that connects the barrel to the lower tube magazine. So that's something I wish I would have known beforehand, but you know, a quick trip to a forum and I found that out pretty quick. And if you're wondering, the TLR1 has held up great to the recoil of this gun. It has not malfunctioned, it has not turned off and not turned back on. The switches still work just fine. I want people to understand, yes, the TLR1 is a very affordable option, but it's also not like dirt cheap, and it is also duty rated. This is actually what most police departments issue on duty handguns. So I trust this thing with my life because I've used it on my own handguns. So putting it on a shotgun and knowing that it still works is another testament to how high quality this is. So just as I said I would, we're going to talk about the Freedom Fighter Tactical adjustable tube so that you can make your stock adjustable. So like I said, when you buy one of these from the store, that skeleton stock is fixed. You can't actually adjust it to shorten the buttstock the way you see it in all the pictures with the Marine Corps. So you got to buy this tube, and the tube is $500. So it's expensive, but it's worth it. I like having the authenticity of, having the same shotgun that, a military force uses. It's pretty cool to know that. It is a 3-point adjustable stock. So you have the first position, which is right up against the receiver where it's super short. The next position is halfway between, and then a full extension is, it's actually pretty long. When it's fully extended, it's a pretty long stock. So keep that in mind. It's probably going to be a little bit longer than to where it meets the crease of your elbow. Now that we've talked about what this gun has on it, we'll go ahead and talk about accuracy. So the purpose of this gun for me was to be used as a home defense shotgun. So that means that my engagements are going to be 25 yards max for me if we're talking inside my house. But more realistically, the engagement would be probably like 20, 30 feet. So 25 was pretty much the max I was going to push accuracy. And I was able to get very consistent, very accurate hits with slugs and buckshot out to 25 yards. And even at 25 yards, got buckshot patterns of about the size of my hand, which I was pretty happy with. I just wanted to make sure that my dot was on and that, if I was actually aiming at it, I was going to hit it. I wasn't looking for MOA accuracy. No, the tests are not scientific. It was simply just make sure it hits, get a good, decent group, pretty much call it done, because a shotgun is what I needed to do. It's basically pop off a spray of little BBs, or, in this case with buckshot, bigger pieces of lead flying down range. And, I'm just trying to hit the dude. And, from 20, 30 feet, this is acceptable accuracy. This thing is very accurate. I guarantee you that if you really wanted to push it out, you could probably make slug shots out to 75 yards. Have I tried? No. I'm kind of limited as far as my budget, so I don't really have a lot of money to just go drop on a whole bunch of slugs and start sending it downrange. So after my practical accuracy tests, one day I decided to go off-roading, went about 30 to 40 miles into the desert, some random location, and decided to go shoot. It's kind of one of the blessings that we have living here in the desert. So I went out, did a couple more drills with it, loading this thing, shooting, reloading, running around, just trying to get a better feel for the shotgun rather than just standing on the flat range and, getting used to gaming drills and doing more than just shooting at a piece of paper. I have to say it was a really windy day, and there was a whole bunch of debris being pushed around and getting into the action, and this gun was pushing right through it, feeding all my rounds, no malfunctions. I was having a really good time. I was getting really used to the platform. Reloads were quick. Follow-up shots were really easy with the semi-automatic capability. I really like this shotgun. I think that if you are willing to pay the hefty price tag, it's absolutely worth it. So all in all, this is a great shotgun. It's expensive. It's upwards of $2,000 if you have it set up just like mine. Some people are going to comment, say I copied Grand Thumb. Well, sorta. I mean, his setups are always pretty cool, and he seems to know what he's doing, so why wouldn't I try to do the same? But this brings up a really important question. Some people say, well, is it necessary to have something as expensive as this for home defense, for self-defense? Well, that's a question only you're going to be able to ask. I always ask, what is my life worth? Right? And I think my life is worth a little bit more than $2,000. There's some people on the internet that say you should use a cheap but sort of reliable, a reliable enough gun for your home defense gun, because when the police come and confiscate it after, if you have to use it in a self-defense shooting, well, there goes your expensive gun and you just lost all that money. Well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, because shouldn't I want to depend on a very high quality and expensive gun to defend my life with? My life is worth more than that, worth more than the $2,000. I'll get it back eventually, hopefully, but the point being, people are missing the point. You should be seeking quality and reliability, not just focusing on dollar amount. Now, this is not to say that you have to have a gun as expensive as this in order to defend yourself reliably. A Remington 870 shotgun or a Mossberg 590 that goes for $300, $400, $500 will do just fine, but it's not going to perform in the same way as this, right? The action's not as smooth, it's not semi-automatic, and the capacity is not as great as this is. So whatever you decide to do, whether you get this gun or a different one, make sure that you set it up to the point of where you have the greatest advantage over your opponent possible, to the point of where you end up alive. And I think it's time for one of those lessons that I implement in just about every other video, and this one's saying that your life is much more important than all the stupid freaking guns that you think that you need. So guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I appreciate you keep coming back to the channel, and stick around for better content coming out soon. I've got a whole bunch of good videos coming up. Just got to be patient. It's kind of hard to get these things out on time, but I'll do my best. Go ahead and head on over to the Instagram page. It's actually picking up some traction, getting a lot more followers. There you'll be able to see notifications for new video drops. Have a great day. Come back soon.